Welcome to the Rising Consciousness Show, 20 minutes of soulful insights and powerful tools to elevate your life experience and create with higher clarity, intention, and vision. I'm Tara Antler, intuitive healer and soul coach.
And I'm King Gabriel, spiritual teacher and practitioner. And we are the co-founders of Ascension Academy of Life,
a global center for spiritual growth, intuitive healing, and soul alignment.
Get ready to blast off.
Grand Rising, beautiful being. I am so grateful to be here with you. Today we are talking about knowing when to make moves. When it comes to your life, when it comes to your business, when it comes to any big decision that you need to make in your life, it's really, really helpful when you know intuitively when to make those moves and when to maybe not make those moves. So for those of you that are just getting to know me here, my name is Tara Antler. I am an intuitive healer, a soul coach, and a spiritual mentor, and I've been doing what I call this non-work for coming up to 22 years this August. I get to celebrate, and one of the things that I love to do most is to help people clear out what I've labeled the ick and the stick. That stuff that doesn't serve us, the stuff that just gets in the way, clogs our pipe, slows us down. Clear that out, reconnect to our higher self, bring it in, bring it down so that you can embody your higher self. And this is a big part of what I wanted to talk to you about today in making moves. In order for us to have that clarity and make the big moves, we actually need to be fully embodied with our higher self, or our higher self needs to be fully embodied within us. Because a lot of times people are making decisions from their lower self, their fear-based self, the world's programming self, maybe past pained self, maybe even the ego or the shadow self. And that is not going to lead you to the highest expression of who you are. That's definitely not going to lead you to the best life ever. That's kind of been our hashtag theme for this summer, best summer ever, best life ever. If you want to live that way, you really need to start tuning in and dialing into a higher frequency, a higher energy, a higher calling, a higher self, and not just tap into it. This is why I always say it's not just about tapping into the higher self. It's about bringing it in and bringing it down, grounding it, embodying it so that it actually becomes you. And it's really interesting because I was sitting here with my cards, my Divine Wisdom cards that I created, and I was just sitting here and I was holding the deck and I was just calling in the energy, and I sat here quietly. And I said, okay, show me what's in the cards today. And I shuffled. I literally just did that. And a card stuck to my finger. And it was exactly what I'm talking to you guys about today. It's exactly in alignment with the topic for today, which is pay attention to coincidences. Higher self, they are higher self messages. So nothing is really ever a coincidence as we might think. There's alignment. And those coincidences, they're moments of alignment when your higher self is working with you, talking through you, showing you what your next move is, showing you the step to take. It's a matter of whether or not we're listening. So I want to go deeper on this. I'm going to do a little storytelling with y'all, and then I'm going to give you the practice that's in this deck, okay? Because it's totally relevant to the conversation today. As many of you know, Spirit has always been guiding through me. This has been a constant thing for my entire life. And I've had many. I was sitting here thinking about, gosh, like which example, which story can I highlight to really set the context for this conversation? There's so many that I could have shared with you today, but the one that really stood out, which I think is the most recent heavy hitter story that has happened in the last couple of years that I think you all could relate with. 5 years ago, was it 5? Yeah, 2019, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. 5 years ago, we were leaving Barrie. So it was in the fall, and we packed up everything. We put everything into storage. We were in the middle of launching. I'm double breastfeeding the twins. It was like crazy pants. Our business was growing exponentially, and I got this intuitive nudge. It's time to leave. And I had been feeling that. I don't know if any of you ever feel that when you get this urge, you get this like, starts with a little tap. Most of the time it starts with a little whisper. Then it starts with a little tap. And then it's like a nudge. And then it's a push. Well, I was getting the whispers. It's time to leave Barrie. I was getting the tap on the shoulder. It's time to leave Barrie. I was getting the thrust forward. It's time to leave Barrie. And finally it was like, we have to go. It got so uncomfortable. And I want you to pay attention to every little bit that I'm going to highlight here in the story, because I want you to relate that to some area of your life so that you can strengthen not only your connection to your higher self, but start to really listen to those nudges and those whispers, because this is what's really going to expand your ability to make decisions, knowing when to make decisions, because we're always being called up to higher expressions of ourselves. So when we're being called up, as I say, called up to make moves, all right? So I was being called up to make moves. Our whole family was. And I said to Gabriel, we have to put everything into storage. And everybody's like, where are you going to move? I'm like, it hasn't been revealed as yet. So here's a key part. I never say, I don't know. I learned that one along the way because I kept hearing myself, I don't know, cancel, delete. But I kept saying that, and I recognized, and Gabriel and I had a conversation about it. I said, gosh, if I keep echoing, I don't know, I'm going to reinforce, I don't know, and I'm going to get more of, I don't know. So pay attention to that. If you hear yourself saying, I don't know what my next moves are. I don't know when I'm supposed to move forward. I don't know when. I don't know what. I don't know who. I don't know. If you keep saying that or hear yourself thinking that, you are generating that field for that creation and experience to come back to you, and you're going to get more of what you don't know. And I don't think any of y'all are here to get more of what you don't know. I think you're here to get clarity. Okay? So that's the next piece. So I kept saying, it hasn't been revealed to me as yet. I just know, right? I just know that it's time to make moves. I just know it's time to put everything into storage. I just know we're supposed to be doing something different. So we started the process. We started packing. It hadn't been revealed as yet as to where we're going. I just knew it was time to make moves. So pay attention to that within yourself. When you get that feeling, it's time to make moves. It's time to change. Pay attention to that. Even if you're not sure as yet as to what the details are, where you're going, what the next move is, still stay with the feeling. The feeling is, the nudge is, the energy is, the tap on the shoulder, the whisper in my ear is, it's time to make moves. I'm being called up and into change and do something different. Stay with that, then start to make moves. If you don't make moves and you're getting that message to make moves, you're slowing down your own process. So we started to make moves. We put everything into storage. And we got the storage bin, and then all of a sudden, I think it was like days before we were finishing up, the storage bin was already outside our house. I think it was there for 2.5 weeks. We were slowly packing. We had 3 little ones at the time. Okay. I think the twins were just over a year. Aria was 3. So we had 3 under 3, and we were doing this. All right. So when people say to me, I'm too busy, life's too crazy, there's too many things going on, I get it. Almost every single time I've been asked by spirit to make big moves, my higher self, creator God, big moves, it's always come at a time when there's a lot of moving parts in my life. So don't wait for the perfect scenario. Don't wait for the perfect time, because a lot of times you will be asked, called up to make moves when there's a lot going on. And I get it. It seems like the craziest time. It feels like the time that's when you don't want to make moves. You just want peace. You just want stability. You just want things to be right here. But yet something higher within you is saying it's time to make moves. We have to put the excuses aside. We have to put I'm too busy. I can't do this. There's too much on my plate. We have to be willing to continue to make moves if you want to make big moves and live a big life, right? So we started to make moves. We had this storage bin in the driveway, and it was about 2 weeks in. And all of a sudden, Mexico kept popping in my head. Same thing for Gabriel. And we've lived in Mexico before. We lived in Playa del Carmen before. We were in Tulum. We ran retreats there. We loved Mexico. And this time it was different though. I kept hearing West Coast. And I said to Gabriel, Puerto Vallarta keeps popping into our awareness. It was literally like the coincidences, right? Like the card I drew this morning. It was like the hummingbird flying at your face and at the window saying, Puerto Vallarta, Puerto Vallarta. So I said, I think that's where we need to go. So we started looking, we found the perfect place, and there we were booked to go to fly out New Year's Day, 2020. And so in the time being, we put everything into storage. We let the place go in Barrie. We were up north here with my family for Christmas, and then we made moves and we went down. We stayed with friends of ours who were living in the Collingwood area. We stayed with them for a couple weeks. And again, we had 3 babies, 3 little ones under 3. And we get on the plane and we go. And it was amazing. We had such an incredible experience. We got to feel and know what it was like to travel with 3 little ones, to be on the beach, to have them have some incredible experiences together. It expanded our vision, our horizons. In that time, we had just launched Thrive. It was then called Thrive 365, which is now Thrive Evolution. We had launched our meditation certification. We had launched our online group and our online programs. Things were just like booming. So much expansion happened during that time. And then we were scheduled to come back to Canada to run a retreat in the Collingwood area in March, the beginning of March. And so again, we flew home and everybody kept saying, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Where are you going to go next? Are you going to stay in Mexico or are you going to come back to Canada? And again, remember I said at the beginning of this, I did not say, I do not know. The moment you reinforce, I don't know, and people are going to tell you and your mind is going to say, I don't know. I don't have the answers as yet. You could say, I don't have the answers as yet. I would cancel, delete out the I don't know piece, because the moment you reinforce that, again, you're reinforcing the energy of I don't know. And you could sit in I don't know for years. That's not clarity. That's not going to bring you closer to making big moves when you're called up to make big moves, right? So Gabriel and I, we sat there and we said, well, we know this. Start with what you do know. We know this. We're going to Collingwood. We're running our retreat. After that, I know it'll be revealed. After the retreat, I'm going to sit. We had an Airbnb for an extra week. I'm going to sit in meditation. I'm going to ask for clarity, and I know I'm going to get it. Now, how am I able to do that so clearly? When you need answers, how are we able to just go and get answers? Do you think it's just sheer luck? Do you think it's just because I'm one of those select few that just has these gifts? That's not the case. You all have gifts. You all have intuitive gifts and guidance. The difference is I have been consciously, actively practicing developing my intuition since I was a child. For real, since I was a child. I started working with crystals when I was 10. I started reading books about Wicca and native shamanic stuff when I was 11 and 12. I still have the books. Then in grade 9, when I was 14, I started studying yoga, meditation, Reiki, Qigong, reflexology. This is something that I have been cultivating. I'm now 46. I've been cultivating this my entire life. I'm not saying you have to be cultivating it your entire life, but you definitely want, if you want clear answers and you want to be able to dial into your intuition like that when you need answers and get answers like that, you definitely want to be expanding your intuition, developing your intuition, and definitely be doing it with somebody who's been doing it a long time. So I'm going to tell you more about the upcoming workshop too, by the way, which is starting in a week today. Actually, I'll just tell you quickly now, and then I'll continue on the story. So if you want to register for that, just type the word intuition, even if it seems like a hard word to spell, intuition, okay? And I'll send you the link. It starts in a week. It's a free workshop, 5 days, and we're going to go into detail about this. We're going to talk about trust. We're going to talk about clearing out the cloud screen above and around your third eye so that you can get clarity and then really start to tap into the highest vision through your higher self. It's a free workshop that we do once a year on intuition. And so this is a really great time because it only comes up once a year, this particular workshop. So just type the word intuition and I'll send you the link. So because I've been practicing my entire life, expanding my intuition, I was able to tap in very quickly, ask the correct question. That's the first thing. You got to be able to get clear enough to ask the correct question and not bombard somebody or your higher self with a bunch of questions. You got to ask the correct question to get the correct answer. So the answer dropped down and it said, look for an Airbnb. Because I said, where are we going next? And they said, look for an Airbnb between North Bay and Pembroke. And I'm like, or first they said Northern Ontario. And I'm like, Northern Ontario is a pretty big place. And they said, narrow it down between North Bay and Pembroke, you'll find something. And I'm like, okay, here we go. So I get on and I didn't get frustrated. I was just kind of laughing about it because I'm like, sometimes your higher self will do that where it's not exact. It's not super, super specific. It's a little bit broad. And I think they do that to surprise us because who's going to have fun if you know every single answer and turn around the corner? I like to be surprised. And so I got to go on this grand adventure. Open it up, look for an Airbnb. We found this place where we're living now that we bought property on. We found this place where I didn't even know that anybody was renting something here. So we find out it's available. Great. We land here. As we're getting ready to make moves here, in that week that I was in Collingwood, Creator said, I want you to sit in meditation for the next couple days. There's a lot that we want to share with you. I said, okay. I had no idea what the intensity of what was going to drop down. I literally got the play-by-play of what was going to happen for the next 4 years. I heard that there was something really big coming that was going to shut the world down. It's going to shock people. They also said, don't fear it because it's not what you think. I won't go into detail about that because I'll probably get a whole bunch of poo-pooing all over my account, which I went through that already 4 or 5 years ago. But word by word, play by play, moment by moment, I got all the details. And all the details have unfolded 100% exactly what was given to me back in March 2020. About the V coming in, mass Ving of everybody, shutting down the borders, lack of travel, that it would lift, it would clear. Then there would be the grand reveal, revelation would come. A lot would fall, a lot of truth would come, a lot of people would pass and die. A lot would be affected by this in so many different ways. People would be torn apart. There would be a parting of the seas. There will be ripping apart of friendships. There will be ripping apart of families, like everything, play by play by play by play by play. For 4 years, I got the information. Now, sometimes when you get a lot of intuitive information like that, it's challenging to know what to do with it. Because as a leader, I have to be responsible. I have thousands of people that pay attention to my work. I have to be responsible. And yet at the same time, I was one of those people always that if I knew something about something, if I knew that there were 2 bottles of clear liquid in a room and one bottle contained beautiful, clean water and one of them contained a poison, I'm not going to be the type of person that's going to let you walk in the room and be like, I know the answer, but you have to figure it out. I'm going to tell you, this is what's been shown to me. This one's the poison. This one's the water. It's up to you what you choose now. And oh my gosh, like the intensity that came from that was so big. And this is the thing about when you get intuitive guidance and you get intuitive wisdom that drops down. As a leader, you have to know what to do with that too. And when to speak, when not to speak, when to show up, when to pull back, when to share, when not to share. And that takes a whole other level of responsibility and leadership by self first, and then how you lead on a larger scale. And so when you're making big moves, you have to also be discerning. So discernment can mean, is this information for me? Is this guidance for me? Is this for my family? Is this for my friends? Is this for the world? Is this for my clients? Is this to be publicly displayed? Without you tapping into your own intuition, without you developing your own intuition, you become reliant on everyone else. And that puts us at a very disempowered state. Because then you're looking to someone all the time for the answers. You're looking to something and someone else outside of you to tell you what to do and when to make moves. Anytime I've ever listened to that or allowed for that, it's always come at a price and a cost to me. This is why we run these workshops. This is why we do Thrive in 5. This is why we have Thrive Evolution. This is why we teach and mentor people about their own intuition development, because I want you to be able to tap into your inner truth and tap into your higher self and to get the goods and get the answers and get the message and be discerning and then know how to lead that. I don't want you to become reliant upon me. Now, as a leader, I had to step up and I had to say a lot, because I was called to. I sat with that information that came down in 2020 and I sat with it. And it was the hardest thing for me because my higher self was like, you have to speak about this. I was like, I don't want to speak about this. You have to speak about this. I don't want to speak about this. And every time I did speak about it, I got slapped in the face so many times on social media. I lost friends. I lost family members. So much happened. It was crazy. And that's not for everybody. That's not everybody's path. I'm sharing that though, because every bit of intuitive guidance and wisdom that you get, sometimes it's for you and sometimes it's for the whole. And you have to be discerning. Is this for me? Is this to share? Is this for my community? Is this for my clients? Is this for my family? Is this for my spouse? Is this for me? Right? We need to be discerning. So that's the last piece of this conversation today, is to be really discerning with your information that you get. And to also continue that conversation. And that's where the higher self comes in. If you are getting information and wisdom by the higher self, which is connected to Creator God, the infinite, the divine, you trust that whatever you're getting, it is of the highest nature, of the highest truth always. And when you're plugged into the highest truth, the highest nature always, then you trust that whatever guidance is being given, you trust that guidance and you make moves. You trust that guidance and you take the step. As painful as it can be sometimes, as earth-shattering as it can be sometimes, as you know that by making certain moves, you're going to shake some stuff up, which is not always easy, but it's what you have to do. Because if you don't listen to the whisper, if you don't listen to the conversation, if you don't listen to the tap, you don't listen to the little nudge, you're going to be pushed over the edge and you're going to have to make moves. So this is why I'm highly recommending for all of you to refine your intuition, clarify your intuition, develop your intuition. This isn't something that you just do once in your life, by the way. It's not like you just do it one time. You're like, no, I did that. I did a course. I expanded my intuition. Yeah. And what are you continuing to do? Because you are forever evolving. Your intuition is forever evolving. Your connection to your higher self can always be strengthened. Your ability to dial into wisdom can always be strengthened. This is the power of evolving ourselves, to continuously be willing to show up and to do the work, to grow. We all need to be doing this if you want to live a spiritual and a spiritually aligned life. if you want to be able to make moves, when you're called up and you're like, I'm being asked to make some big moves, you're going to want to have a dialed in intuition. You're going to want to have access to your higher self so that you can ask the right question and get the correct answer, so that you can trust what you're getting and then make moves. So when you're called up, you got to trust too that it's being called up through Creator, the divine, God, whatever you want to call it. It's being called up through your higher self. And if you're practicing that regularly, if you're tapped into that spiritually, you then know. And you're like, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to make moves. I'm ready to lean in. I'm ready to open up. I'm ready to expand. And this is why I invite you all to come, even if you've been in a Thrive in 5 before, even if you've done this intuition workshop before. You guys know every time we teach Thrive Evolution, every time we teach a Thrive in 5, we bring forward different stuff, different pieces, because we're forever evolving. You all are forever evolving. So we're always bringing through different things. So if you want to come and join us, type the word intuition. I'll send you the link. You can come and register. We start in 1 week, 5 days. And now I want to give you a little practice. So this was the card that I drew for the collective today. Pay attention to coincidences. They are higher self messages. And so in the booklet, and these are my own divine wisdom cards. Have you ever had one of those moments when you're looking out the window or sitting outside thinking about something important, communicating with the divine, or perhaps contemplating your next choice in life, and then out of nowhere a hummingbird appears right in front of you? It pauses for a moment, as though to gift you a message. You feel a rush of energy flow through you. You feel connected. You feel the magic. You extend gratitude to the magnificent little creature. You feel blessed. Coincidences and synchronicity are like coins of pure gold and goodness delivered from your soul or your higher self. A serendipitous moment, perfect alignment, divine orchestration, a sign or a signal from the higher self to let you know everything is working out, or this is the way to go, or yes, choose that option. It's like a deja vu moment, gifting you clarity and a sense that all is well, knowing all is aligned and all is wonderfully unfolding for the greatest good of all. So the mantra that I want you guys to focus on today is this: I allow the divine to communicate in all its mystical ways. I allow the divine to communicate in all its mystical ways. I allow the divine to communicate in all its mystical ways. And the divine wisdom practice. So inside the booklet, there's always a mantra, and then there's a divine wisdom practice. So when you're seeking clarity from your higher self or the divine, imagine that you are simply connecting and chatting with a friend. This is how I talk to my higher self all the time. It's like, hey, bud, hey, how's it going? Like I'm talking to as if I'm speaking to a friend. Imagine that you are simply connecting and chatting with a friend. An easy flowing conversation between pals where there's a balance between speaking and listening. Ask your question and then pause, open, and listen for the insight to drop in. Sometimes the drop down is immediate. Other times it may be moments later. The answer may also come in the form of synchronicity. The answer may include a physical sign that expresses the exact message you need, a song that pops up on the radio or on your phone that speaks to you, a feather on your path, random coins that show up like gifts from the other side, a book that falls off the shelf and opens to a random page with divine messages in the words. So the divine is always speaking to us. Hi, Zoe, nice to see you. The divine is always speaking to us. It's always communicating. It's just, are we open to receive it? Are we open to listening? Are we open to the magic and the beauty and the mystery and all the goodness that comes with it? And when it comes to opening your intuition, when you want to make big moves, you got to be willing to open your intuition. You got to be connected to your higher self. And you need to be in a balanced space of listening, right? You want to be able to listen and speak and listen, so that there's a two-way dialogue happening. And this is all the stuff that we're going to be doing in our upcoming workshop next Monday, the 29th. 5 days, intuition. It's called Foresee Your Future. So we're going to help you to refine your third eye, clear off some of the clouds, open you up, connect to the higher self, and then really be able to access the divine path that you have for yourself, that your soul's been holding. And if you want to make big moves, big moves in business, it's the same. Big moves in life, it's the same. Every single time we have made big moves, and I'm so grateful, just to wrap up this story that I was telling today, I'm so grateful that we listened. Find an Airbnb between North Bay and Pembroke, and we landed here. And this ended up being, it felt like the property was waiting for us. It opened up to us. It's so abundant, this property. And we fell in love with it. We fell in love with the area to the point where the owner of the property said, you obviously love it here. He's like, would you want to buy it? And I was like, yeah, for sure. He said, maybe an offer I can't say no to. So we said, we're not going to play this like back and forth negotiation thing. We just said, tell us what you want for it and we'll let you know if we can do that. And he came with a rate and we said yes. We didn't finagle. We didn't go back and forth. We didn't negotiate. We just said, okay, that's what you're asking. That's what it's worth. So we'll pay that. And that's a value conversation too, which is for a whole other day. But since being here, even though we're here now 6 months and we're in Mexico 6 months, I love being here. It's so abundant. It's so healthy. We've got a stream running beside us. We have well water. The air is clean. There's so much abundance here. And I'm so grateful that we're here and that we made those moves. So I share that with you because when you follow it through, once you've gotten the goods and you got the message, are you willing to follow it through? Only you can make it happen. Only you can follow it through. That's why you have the power that you do. Y'all know I say this like 1,000 times. You're so powerful. You are so powerful. You have the power to make the moves. So once you get that, you got to be willing to make the moves. Okay. So hopefully this has helped. Hopefully this has given some great context and some depth to the conversation around intuition. And when you want to make big moves, when you're being called up to make big moves, you got to trust that it's coming in from your higher self, that it's a matter of what do you do with it? Are you listening? Are you knowing the right questions to ask? Is your intuition refined? And then are you taking that and moving with it? All right. If you want to come and join us in the workshop as well, type the word intuition. I will send you the link. I can't wait to see you all next Monday. I know many of you I will see this week in Thrive and over in our other off Facebook group. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm sending you all so much love, so much goodness, so much grace. I hope you have the most magical day today. And we'll talk to you all soon. Bye. Thank you so much for joining us today on another episode of the Rising Consciousness Show. For more high vibration conversations, meditations, energy activations, and tips and tools on creating your most exceptional life, we lovingly invite you to connect with us at academyoflight.ca. The website is www.academyoflight.ca. It is time to create your heaven on earth experience, and we look forward to sharing this beautiful journey with you.
You're listening to Rising Consciousness, yeah.
Woo!
Woo!